Committee believe that this charter, along with the cultural changes from it, will give the Holbrook residents of today and tomorrow the town government they deserve. Through our time, we have identified several areas of strength in town and some areas for opportunities for greater success. Many officials strive to do the best they can, but are often hindered by the antiquated structure we operate under today. We please ask for everyone not to think of the person who may be in a specific position today, but strip out personalities and try to work to look at the underlying structure which exists both today and what is being proposed. Our legislative body is town meeting. Right now it's a representative town meeting. That would remain the same. Our size is 240 members. That would remain the same. Right now there is no attendance policy for town meeting members. If they don't attend, something would happen. In the proposed charter, that would change. Call of meetings and emergency meetings, state law still requires 14 days, is what it does now. That's what the proposal is. Regular meeting schedule, right now, it just says annually is what's required. We specify a place at a time, the first week of May. Right now, the elections are held annually in April. The proposed charter would hold them in June after town meeting. Right now, there are the elected boards, Board of Health, Board of Assessors, Planning Board, Board of Selectmen, School Committee, Housing Authority, and Library Trustees. The only board that would change from elected to appointed would be the Board of Assessors. We also increased the library trustees from 3 members to 5 members. Elected positions, the treasurer, collector, town clerk, and moderator are currently elected positions. Under the charter, moderator is the only elected position. Right now, we say there's no prevention for conflict of interest. What we have built into the charter is no elected official may serve more than 1 elected office at any time. And the Board of Selectmen cannot be a town employee for 1 year after Board of Selectmen service. So
Is that a municipal elected position? Or?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Holbrook municipally elected, you cannot hold, so for instance, you cannot be a member of the school committee and a member of the Board of Selectmen at the same time. Or you couldn't be the town moderator and on the planning board at the same time. There's some conflicts there, obviously, that are generated if that were to happen. Right. The chief operating officer, currently, it's the Board of Selectmen. A 5-member board is in charge of the day-to-day operations overall and the oversight of that. The charter would change that to town manager. Chief financial officer, again, falls onto the Board of Selectmen to do that. The charter would change that to town manager. Negotiation of contracts, both union and non-union, falls on the Board of Selectmen. And the town side and the schools, school committee and the superintendent on that side. Our proposal is that it would go to the town manager / human resources director's authority and stay with the schools on that side. Personnel administration, right now, the Board of Selectmen acts for everything when it comes to personnel. Not only as your role as a personnel board, but also as a Board of Selectmen. That would change to town manager, human resources director. Submitting of the town budget, currently it goes to the finance committee, and then it's our role, or the finance committee's role. Our change is that it all funnels through the town manager's office as that chief operating officer and chief financial officer to manage that process. Right now, civil defense and emergency management, chairman of the Board of Selectmen is actually charged with that role. We would change that to the town manager. Town manager and all employees receive a yearly evaluation. Currently, that is not happen. Our proposed charter is that would happen. The budget process, currently budget submitted to the finance committee, budget's reviewed by the finance committee, and final budget is drafted, and then the budget's presented to town meeting. The changes that now would basically all go through the town manager's office. The town manager's office, with help from the schools on the school budget, would craft a budget, submit that to the Board of Selectmen for the Board of Selectmen's review. The Board of Selectmen would actually have to vote a balanced budget. That would go to the finance committee for our review. We would look at it, make some recommendations. Ultimately, the town manager's budget and an eventual town manager's budget would be submitted to town meeting. If the finance committee felt that changes were still needed, then we'd be able to present that on town meeting floor. So the budgeting process goes to the town manager's office. And so the way this would read is the town manager shall be the sole appointing authority for all town employees, except those which fall under control of the school department and the Holbrook Housing Authority, or for which some other method of appointing has been granted by Mass General Law, this charter, special law, or bylaw. And then appointments made for the positions of town clerk, police chief, fire chief, finance director, treasurer collector, accountant, principal assessor, public services director, and library director shall be subject to a 15 business day review period by the Board of Selectmen. If 4 members of the Board of Selectmen shall cast a rejection vote within the 15 business day review period, the appointment shall be deemed rejected and position deemed vacant. If a rejection vote is not cast by 4 members during the 15 business days, then the appointment shall be deemed approved. So it gives the ability that if something egregious was done, an appointment was made to one of these key positions, there's a system in place that the Board of Selectmen can act to undo that appointment. Yes, please.
Kevin, what about appointments not of that level? Appointments made by the town manager for,
What we tried to stay away from was micromanaging. And if you open it up to every position and every appointment, you would inundate yourselves almost as being a personnel board in a constant check on the office of the town manager. And what you end up with is you don't end up with the most qualified town manager, because they don't want somebody looking over their back every time they appoint somebody. It's not the best thing, as well as the employees know that you're the check on them. So it ends up that, just look at the Red Sox, people go around the manager and keep going to the higher ups and the owners, because they know that ultimately the managers has no real power behind them. So this structure keeps the key positions that we know are extremely important for the long-term health of the town in front of the Board of Selectmen, I think, where they should be to have that check.
Are those annual appointments, or are those, can you enter into a?
You can enter into
long-term?
contracts, and it depends
3
on
years.
statutes, usually up to 3 years for most of our positions. So, and that's sort of the reason why a lot of these, that we want to make sure that there is that check there, that there is that balance there, while allowing, and again, every one of the comments that we got from the outside officials that have been through this process before, and work in other towns and see it work and see what doesn't work, they've all said that having this process of that being the appointing authority and the check on a high level.
Keep in mind, 2 of them are town managers.
Two of them are town managers, one of them is, but I think that, when we met with Michael Ward, who wasn't a town manager in the Collins Institute, that was one of the big points that he pointed out, was in order to get the most qualified town managers, and somebody that actually, because you're gonna ask that person to be charged with making sure that everything runs efficiently, effectively, that everybody's working at the top notch, but if you're not allowing them to actually appoint and oversee the people effectively, we cannot have a mayor in the town of Holbrook. We do not have enough residents. You need at least 12,000 residents in a town to even broach the subject of having a mayor. So we don't meet that criteria, so we can never have a mayor until we get 12,000 people. But the process in terms of what the structure might be, based on when we met with, again, the Collins Institute, who's done charters with a lot of people, this strong town manager, for our size of town, this is a more common what happens. I'll say that. I don't have hard numbers for you, but that's what we've been, anecdotally, that's what we've seen through our own research, and that's what we've been told, that a strong town manager in a town of our size is what typically is being done through this process.
Thank you, that's.
I'm gonna try to speak up here.
Yeah, okay. You want to start on this, or you still got a few things?
I just, yeah, we can start on that, because there's nothing else
Okay.
major on there. There's a couple of things, but,
you're fine.
well, one thing, the town manager position, we wanna make sure that it specifies that basically if you go 3 to hire, 4 to fire. So to hire a town manager, it would take 3 affirmative votes of the Board of Selectmen,
Majority, get rid of.
and a supermajority of 4 votes to suspend or remove them.
I like the point by Jerry Perry, who said that instead of just the evaluation annually, I think it was Jerry Perry.
Yes, it was.
That said we should, whether it be June 30th or whatever it is, that there should be
The-
a hard date on that evaluation.
A hard date on the evaluation, so that
I like
it's
that.
a practice that you do it every year, otherwise you might get lost in the shuffle of annually, it just sort of chaos.
As a football player, I was used to getting knocked down, but I always bounced back. Then an infected mosquito bit me, and I almost died. Mosquitoes can carry serious viruses like Triple E and West Nile virus. So protect yourself and the people you care about. Use mosquito repellent with DEET. Limit being out from dusk to dawn. Wear more protective clothing. Keep your screens in good shape, and get rid of standing water around your house. These simple steps can help prevent mosquito bites and keep you healthy this summer.